All right, let's get insights on how the ConCourt ruling on shared maternal and paternal leave will impact workplaces and change leave rights in the future with CEO of Theron Incorporated, Shando Theron. Shando, thank you so much for your time and for joining us this morning. So this is a landmark ruling by the ConCourt, now giving that equal parental leave to fathers as well. How do you think this aligns with existing constitutional protection as well as just international obligations for equal rights, especially when it comes to parental rights?
Katlego, as you know, the devil's in the detail. The legislature, which is Parliament, has 12 months to enact this into legislation. And there's a couple of things we need to keep in mind. Firstly, it's not that the fathers get 4 months and the mothers get 4 months. For instance, like in some European countries, there is still 4 months leave, which has to be split between the parents as they see fit. So, in essence, the mother's leave could be halved. So there's something we need to think about there, and a couple of other things that the legislature needs to look at. What about in polygamous marriages? Let's say your wife number one falls pregnant, and now you're at home, and then wife number 2 has a baby, wife number 3 has a baby. Does this mean that the father can stay home for 6 months at a time? So what the legislature probably has to look at, as well as a woman would only be able in a 12-month cycle to sort of access that, for biological reasons, access that leave once. How many times can a father access that leave in a 12-month cycle? And of course, the other thing is, in a matter of adoptions or surrogacy, does the surrogate mother get to leave, the one who gave birth to the baby and whose body now needs to recover, or does the new mom with a new baby, who also needs to look after the child, does she have access to the leave? So there's a couple of things I think that the legislature needs to look at. It certainly is a step in the right direction, but the amendments to our labour laws is going to have to be drafted pretty cleverly.
Well, I mean, you raise very pertinent issues there, Shando, in terms of what we need to look at, and possibly this then taking away from a mother who needs to recover biologically during that period of time. What would then be the impact on the employer? I mean, if you're speaking on a situation like that of someone who is in a polygamous marriage and then now has to take leave for over a long period of time within one financial year, how could this affect employment rights and just working discrimination laws and balancing out that act for parental leave?
I think probably we have to look at how other countries in the world deal with this. And I would say in polygamous marriages that it would probably come down to, in a 12-month cycle, you would be able to access that leave. You would be able to access that leave probably only once. Because otherwise, if you have an important job, an important company, and you're gone for 6 months, that will be untenable for your employer.
How do you think this has any way of influencing societal perceptions of gender roles within families, especially in the workplace?
I think that's a good thing. I think it's time for us to get away from the cowboys don't cry attitude. Men can be nurturers. Men can be phenomenal parents. Too long we've been suffering, or we have the institutional memory, especially in our courts, of happy mother, happy child, maternal preference, tender years. The child is young, therefore it has to be with the mother. I think this will go a long way to breaking that. And I think you and I will agree, many of the social evils we have in our society is because fathers are absent. Unfortunately, that's one of the worst legacies of apartheid, is that, for instance, let's look at Johannesburg and the taxi drivers or the people working on the mines. They're not from Johannesburg. Their families live in Natal, in the Eastern Cape. So that's just one example of many fathers who don't live with their families.
Shando, you mentioned that the legislature still has got 12 months to work through many of the legalities around this ruling. What legal challenges or opposition do you think might arise within this time?
Look, hopefully they'll put out a white paper for smarter people or people who are actually in the practice to look at it, and there'll be some comment. Hopefully they'll listen to the comments. And of course, we are not the first country in the world to struggle with this. There are many places like Australia, New Zealand, who has indigenous law, just like we do, mixed with Western law, mixed with Muslim law, mixed, and so it goes on. And we have many of the problems that we struggle with, they are also struggling with. So it's always good to take a look and see, how did they deal with it? What did they try? And what are some of the things in their legal systems that worked and didn't work? So what opposition will there be to this? I don't think there'll be too much opposition. It's just, how will the drafting be?